You're on.
Thank you. Okay, good morning. Monday, February 25th, after our Board of Selectmen meeting. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So first up is bid opening for the 19 Mile Beach project. Did we receive any responses? We did not. Okay. So we have no bids.
No, unfortunately.
Okay. So we'll have to pursue some other avenues to get some interest. All right, let's move on to public input. We don't have a lot of public here, but
So where does that project, 19 Mile Beach, go from here with no bids?
it is approved. We solicited bids. We did not receive a bid. We'll hire somebody to do it.
Okay,
Okay? I mean,
it's still on.
absolutely. It's on the warrant. We're voting on it at town meeting.
Could I ask that consideration be given that there be a clerk of the works assigned this time to make sure the conditions of the permit are met? Last year,
One of the requirements of the permit is it has to be, the work has to be verified that it's in accordance with the permit and
Okay,
and with the
well, that's
design.
a clerk of the works,
Yes.
I guess you call it.
So, well,
There's one required because it's over 40,000. And we ran into this with Lang Pond Road.
The last time they did the beach, they
Yes.
did it willy-nilly and left.
yeah, when was this, the last time?
Well, the initial construction, you know, the stone berm and the siltation barrier and excuse me.
So we're talking a few years ago, though.
Oh, yes.
Right. So, well, I believe the state's requirements have changed since then.
Well, they had
In terms of-
requirements.
Huh?
They had requirements.
All I'm saying is, I think the process is, the idea I've gotten is it's a little more formalized than it used to be. So, one of the requirements of the permits that we have is that the work has to be monitored and certified that it meets the design.
That's my
Yep.
concern.
Yep. So, in terms of a clerk of the works, I can't say that we will for sure have somebody that does that, but we will have, it'll be monitored to make sure that it's done to the design. All right. We'll move on to review and approval of minutes. The Monday, February 11th, regular selectmen's meeting.
You and Chip's non-public are in one of those.
No, he's got them. Yep.
Yeah,
So, all right.
I'll move approval as drafted.
No, it's not gonna happen. I told
I have no changes.
Second.
All those in favor?
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then we have two non-publics from that day. The first one, the 8:28 non-public.
I have nothing to add.
I'll move approval as drafted.
Okay.
All right.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I'm going to move that we unseal those.
Second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
Okay. Second non-public, the 8:58 a.m.
No changes.
I'll move approval as drafted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And those will remain sealed. And then we have the
Okay.
February 19th work session minutes.
I have nothing to change.
I'll move approval as drafted.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you, gentlemen. And then we are running ahead of schedule, so let's move to the signature file while we wait for Andy. And I'll mention at this point that paving contractor F.R. Carroll was scheduled to come in this morning, and due to a family illness, he is not going to be coming in today. So we need to reschedule that. Maybe you want to make that part of what we do on election day, since we got a long day anyway, if he's available. Then
Do we need to sit down with our road agent and go over a warrant article, roads prior to that? Because we're gonna be asked at town meeting.
Well, that is, but if we meet on election day, that is part of the town meeting, right? Say, I mean, I think it's sufficient that we address it that day. If your thought is we want to have them come and decide on this before, then we can do that as well. But-
I'll defer to you guys' judgment. I have questions, so.
Okay.
And you don't think you'll be able to answer them?
Well, the last couple of town meetings he hasn't gone to.
No. I mean, on the day before, on election day.
I don't know. It's-
Because we're meeting again on the 4th, right?
Yep. So Karen, with respect to F.R. Carroll and Jim, we could meet with them next Monday, or we could meet with them on election day.
Right, and Jim and him were discussing that in the, they had a lot going on obviously today, Frank did. He thinks he's supposed to actually go away next week, now he's not even, now he's not sure if he'll even do that. So everything's kind of up in the air. They're gonna talk at the end of the week and then I would know more.
Okay?
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Good morning.
Yep. Hi, Chief, come on up.
Moneyball would say, come on down.
Yep. Thank you. So these figures are year-to-date figures, right?
Year-to-date, yep.
So,
Not year-to-date, year to January 31st. It's a month.
Just the
oh,
first
okay,
month.
all right, so this is, yeah, through the first month.
Yes.
Second month's not done yet, I understand, yeah. So year-to-date through January.
Right.
So for instance,
Monthly.
last year we had 3 traffic stops in January, this year we have none.
None.
Okay,
But we're ahead, actually, year-to-date, as of today, we're ahead of last year.
yeah, making up for
By a
lost
lot,
time, huh?
making up for lost time.
2 felonies?
Yep.
Jeez.
Well, the theft by unauthorized taken was a car,
Oh.
so that was a felony, and then the other one, I think, was a computer, like identity theft. I believe was the other one.
And accidents are up.
Yeah. A little bit. And
Yep.
then, go ahead.
So do you think that's weather related? I mean, we had some
Weather,
fun- we had funky
we also
weather
had,
this January, but I don't remember exactly.
We also had more deer hit
Yeah.
last month than we
Well, I'll tell you, they are,
out.
They're up
and they're up close to the house. I mean, they are hungry.
on the roads.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's up 4 of them on 171.
Yeah,
So
It's going up to
that's a part of it too. We've had some deer strikes that
yeah.
probably a little up on that. I didn't split out the accidents,
Mhm.
but I'm thinking that's weather related or they were strikes, animal strikes. We also, so to update on the, I met with the architects. They've kind of done a rough, they looked at some of the prior stuff. They've done some rough kind of footage, square footage, went over the program. It's very close to what was done last time. And they've since come back, we've discussed the 3 different places. They've come back with kind of a square on each of the 3 locations. I think they need to adjust this one a little bit. They need to make adjustments at next to the fire station lot right there. So that's where they're at, those, make a few adjustments here and there. So they've been working on that.
So when will we see them again?
That I don't know. They were asking if we had any like topo site plans for here. And I don't think we do. So,
I can't hear you.
yeah. So I don't know that we do. Like Jack said we didn't have any, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
Topologically, it's flat.
it's
Yeah,
pretty flat.
it's,
Well, they also, I think we're looking for an as-built
Oh, the location.
where the walls of different factors are. And I don't know that we have that because the plans were changed significantly, the ones I saw. So, anyway, that's a progress, work in progress. Obviously I'll be in touch with them when I hear some more, let you know.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. I'd be interested in going and seeing these plans, and I'd travel on my own time to the architect's offices. Are selectmen allowed to do that?
well, sure. It's, I guess my thought is that we don't want to muddle what they're doing, and we don't want to slow them down, but it is certainly appropriate that we stay informed on what's going on, so.
Yeah, they're very tentative. I mean, they came up with a basic thing, and I said, well, you need to change this around a little bit, and you can get rid of a bathroom here if you do this. So it's there's nothing.
Are you aware of a time in the near future when they might be back meeting with you?
I don't know yet. I'll reach out to them to find out.
Yeah.
Because that would be a good time for just, I think, for all of us to kind of sit together and.
Well, we're gonna get asked about it, I'm sure.
Sure. Right, and they knew that we'd be asked about it at town meeting and
So
stuff.
if you get some kind of a calendar of events going forward, it would be, this would be
Yep.
fascinating.
I will do that. Like I said, they're very tentative, and it was kind of they took along the lines, and they came up with their own. It's very similar in size to what was proposed before. It works out when you have the square footage of the building plus your hallways and stuff, around 5,000 square feet. It's 4,000 for space, and then when you add in your hallways, so it depends on how efficiently you can eliminate the hallways. It works out to about 5,000.
And that includes Sallyport and
Everything.
garages and all that.
Everything. The only thing I did ask about is that should be shown too is perhaps a fenced area outside for like the car that we've got, that sort of a thing.
Aliens.
Evidence storage.
For like cars and snowmobiles, so over the last couple of years, we've had a few things like that. So
Illegal
place-
aliens.
Legal aliens, yeah,
Yeah, they're
don't put a
okay.
fence up.
Right.
So that's where that's at.
And how's your new officer working out?
Seems to be working out real good.
Good.
Doing expandable baton training right now. So
Oh, what?
our nightstick,
Oh,
expandable baton. It's actually
One that-
expandable baton.
Yeah.
that's what it's
So
called.
this is like synchronized swimming.
Not exactly.
Not if you're a recipient, I don't think you'd want to.
Yeah, I don't think that's an Olympic event.
And
No.
is there training that's going on outside of our department for her, or is that?
Right now, we're doing it internally, and then she goes to the academy, like I said, in May, and then in April is when she gets tested to go to the academy, so we'll be making sure she's ready for that. And I did sign her and another officer up to go to a class in Hampton, so there is some training there.
And the legal training, does that happen at the academy?
Both here and at the academy. She's been part of 2 arrests now in the last 2 days she worked. There was an arrest each day, one with me, one with Officer LaFave. So we've gone over, like I've got, last night was a violation of protective order. Yesterday, I should say, was the last night. So he went over how to do a Gerstein and how to enter it in the computer, that sort of thing. So we are, she learns it by watching, adult learning, hear, see, do. So we've been,
Yeah.
we talk about it, she sees it done,
Practical.
working on car stops, so. seeing how that's done. But a lot of it will come at the academy, but she's also done through Power DMS, our software that tracks. She's gone through a lot of the policies, the training that's in there too, which documents when it was done. And I write the test, and she's passed the test, so on those aspects. And we have more to enter into there and work on, but that's part of the field training.
And she's armed, are we doing firearm training?
She's done the firearms, she's done handcuffing. We have to do, by the academy rules, we have to do firearms training before she can carry the firearm, which we did like that first, the 4th and 5th we did that. The 5th we did that. Then any other weapon she's issued, she has to be trained before she's issued that. So she's done the OC spray training, she's doing the baton training today, and I presume she'll pass that, and then she'll be issued that. Same thing with driving, she has to go through some laws and some other training on that before she can drive, as far as on patrol or drive that could lead to a response. In other words, she can drive, like if we drop she already drove to drop a car off
Right.
at a shop, but there was no expectation that you would stop a car or have to intervene or respond to anything. But until she has those things, she can't do that either. But she's pretty much ready for that. We have a few things to go over that's part of our field training manual. Then she'll be ready she'll be able to drive.
But
The actual,
she has to graduate from the academy before she can operate on her own. Is that
that's
right?
correct. She has to be with a certified officer until she graduates, until she has a certificate from the academy.
Good. So what else is going on?
That's probably the biggest thing, is just getting the training, the uniforms, all the equipment. Working on, like I said, I met with them once, the architects, and I exchanged some emails, updating that. And then I've been, like I said, spending time, she was riding with me, now she's with Officer LaFave, seeing going around the town, going to calls and reviewing how to do different things. So that's working, and I've been working on updating some of our policies and procedures, getting them into Power DMS along with protocols from the Attorney General's office. That's sort of trying to work that so that, and get some testing done on that for everybody. That's what I've been working on.
I had a couple questions.
Mhm.
Before long, spring is going to be here. What do you need for assistance on getting the 2 radar signs, trailers going?
The trailer, I will need to put a new regulator in, a voltage regulator, or charge controller, and then the sign, I'm gonna have to have posts put in. I believe the road agent has the posts. We're gonna see about putting some up. And I was thinking Ledge Hill Road, a few spots there, and a few other places in town.
Because we've already
Looking-
received correspondence of people who support
Yeah.
seeing those. Does it make sense, if you had assistance, to get the trailer back to the dealer or the manufacturer or whatever, and have them do a detailed check of it to see just what it needs? It's kind of old, so that frees you up to do police work.
Well, they can come out and do it. They come out here, that's what they did, but the last time we paid them, I feel like they misdiagnosed it, because they said I need new batteries, put new batteries in, and it died again. So I feel like it was, it's clearly the charger that they don't make anymore, but you can get one to replace it, the charge controller, the photovoltaic charge controller.
Is there anyone in town we can get to help you? Because putting
I'll
regulators
probably just
in
have
is-
to either call and badger them to say this is the problem, or fix it myself. It's like a $50 part.
Is there anything the selectmen can do to assist?
No.
Any more thought on snow plowing? Do we need an ordinance? What are your thoughts there?
At the last chiefs meeting, I reached out to other chiefs in the county, and they have some ordinances. And I asked them to send them, I haven't got any, but I'll reach out to those individually. I asked them like collectively at the meeting, but those that said they had an ordinance, I'll reach out to directly.
Is that fairly common?
There were 3 or 4 towns out of the probably 9 that were there, 8 or 9 that were there, that said they had an ordinance of some sort.
Last year at this time, you submitted the previous year's statistics. Are those available?
I submitted them to the
For the annual report,
In the
yeah.
annual report,
Annual
yeah.
report, okay.
And they were actually kind of what was in the December report, because that was year to date.
Do you do IBOR or FBI reports or whatever they used to be called?
I do turn in a NIBRS report to the state. It's I can't read it because it's just it's a machine code thing to them. I don't understand it, but that's what I have to turn in monthly to them.
Okay. In last year, you had a number of major cases. I would imagine some have concluded, right?
Yes.
Is there any way, without violating defendants' rights, for you to give us a quick written synopsis of those things?
I'm still waiting for returns from the county attorney's office on sexual assault case and on attempted second-degree assault, I think is what they ended up charging on another case.
Does it make sense for the Selectmen's office to make the request? That way it's not you bugging them?
Probably not.
Okay. What
So those
comes-
cases are fully litigated, we're just waiting for
That's what I've heard.
AG to,
No,
or county attorney to come through.
as I understand, yeah, they send me a copy of the disposition, which comes from the clerk's office in the Superior Court down to them, but we don't get it direct from the clerk, so I have to wait for them to forward it. I believe the attempted second-degree assault was pled to a misdemeanor, I'm not sure, which was for suspended time. Then the sexual assault was pled to a second-degree assault, not sexual, and it was pled down, and there were 2 simple assaults that were also part of that disposition of that charge, but I don't know what the plan, I think 2 to 4 years. Credit for time served, almost like 10 months, and then I believe is 2 to 4 years suspended time. It was pled down due to a couple of issues that popped up near the end. So,
And there were some other cases that were pending, correct?
those are probably the most major cases that I can think of.
Did the signed case get resolved?
Sign case, yes, that got resolved.
Okay.
It was a fine.
Is there any way of you, rather than take time from you today, to give a summary of those at your leisure?
Okay. I mean, well, the other 2, I have the final return, so I can't give you the preciseness, but that's what I heard. The signs was a fine, he paid half of it, the other half is suspended upon 1 year good behavior. So that's what that's at.
Anything else? Chip?
I'm good.
All
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, chief. All right. So we'll go to the signature file now. First item is shoreline impact permit for 19 Mile Beach. This needs our signature, is that right?
Just one, isn't it?
I think, yeah. So,
I read it over, I have no questions.
and do we sign it now or when we start the work?
I don't think it matters, to be honest with you,
Okay,
because the contractor signs. It has to be posted at the time the job's,
all right.
yeah.
So I'll entertain a motion for signature of the shoreline permit.
I'll move on that.
Second.
Initially.
All those in favor? Aye, opposed?
There should be a wetlands there too.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I hope there is.
Mm.
It was in here the other day.
Okay.
All right, let me get that while we're at it.
Oh, I thought it was all attached, excuse me.
Oh.
Did I put it all together? I thought I did. The stickies might need a little
Yeah,
black,
there's
that
two
might be
stickies.
why
All right,
they get
Yep.
pushed when they're in
all
the
right.
folder.
So yes, you're right, there are two here.
Okay.
Okay. One's a shoreline, the other one's a wetlands.
All one project though.
Yes. It's for the 19 Mile Beach project. Next item we have is the ambulance service agreement for 2019.
I've read it and I move we sign it.
Okay,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? We have some appointment to the Conservation Commission, nomination of Laurel Ponson as an alternate through June of 2021, and Kathleen Murphy as a member through June of 2021 to the Conservation Commission.
I will move both those signatures, sir.
Okay.
And I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
They came in, were interviewed by Conservation Commission and positive.
Next, we have an application for variance credit for PID 55-1-6. I'll entertain a motion. Actually, we have two of them. One for 55-1-6 and another one for 58-1-23. Both Karen has checked and are eligible for the standard veterans exemption.
I'll move we sign both.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have a yield tax levy in the amount of $386.73 on PID 44-2-20. So this is for timber harvested since April 1st of 2018.
I'll move we sign the levy.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a nomination of an alternate member for the planning board, Gary Qua.
When does it expire?
I'm sorry. It's June of 2021.
I'll move we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And finally, we have a notice of lien on PID 66-1-1.
That's the lien for what now?
This is for aid given by the town of Tuftonboro.
Okay. Did we sign that?
I'll second it with a question. What's the amount of the lien?
It's, there is no amount on the lien, which is customary because I think it's an ongoing situation.
Okay.
Okay, so like a mechanic's lien you
Yes.
place on something, it's there until it's,
Property sold.
or until it's settled and removed, right? But, do we go on that? Oh. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry.
No problem.
That property's sold.
Hmm?
I thought that property sold.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I know he's not living there now, but,
He was back then,
oh, okay.
and there was a need for services.
Hmm, okay. All right, let's go to Selectmen's update. Mr. Albee?
I'm fine.
Okay.
My boiler's on the fifth, so
Oh, well, that's
I'm
not,
busy.
well, that's not fun. Yeah, really.
I just had a thought when we were talking with Gina and with the road agent.
Yep.
I have no problem with on a Thursday or or any day of the week that works out well. Maybe we could kill two birds with one stone, so.
With a work session, yeah.
Right.
Yep, so,
Just a thought, if it allows her to, because if she's gonna be here for minutes, it affects her too, so.
well, and it's, I know the road agent FR Carroll situation is at this point impacted by this family health
Right.
thing of his, right? So, but with respect to the other thing, yeah.
Okay. Cell phone mapping, are you aware of, were you involved in that?
Oh, yeah, yep.
And it's still
It's an
in the
ongoing,
process?
it's an ongoing program. I haven't heard anything out of LRPC recently, I know they're continuing to work, and we had some volunteers here in town that were working on that.
Yes. It was rather interesting, wasn't it?
Well, yeah,
It is what it is.
yep,
The other thing is, with Lakes Region Planning, is my understanding that they need to do some more work so that the planning board can complete its document. on the
that
master plan.
is true, yeah. And we haven't had a recent update from them on that, so I don't,
Well, I'm gonna be up there and I'd have no problem nicely asking what their status
Sure. No,
is,
that's-
but I don't wanna,
yeah.
not work.
Yep, I think that's fine. It-
FEMA policy is to be talked about later,
You talk about the procurement policy.
Yes.
Yep,
and swap shop, we had a motion that was tabled and that we're still waiting for some feedback, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
I had a couple of other things.
okay.
When I was at the transfer station, Clay pointed out to me that the light in the middle on the rainy day was leaking substantially. I mean, like puddle on the floor. Both he and Jack have had people go up and look at it and all that. I'm concerned where that building is vacant for so many hours. We don't need a leak when no one's there and something starts to smolder like that. But to my understanding, it's gonna take a real effort of someone with ladders and training to find out where the leak is. It may be a leak in the metal roof or that's some distance off, how would the board like to handle it?
Well, the last that I knew, electrician was gonna come in and investigate it. I don't know if that's happened yet or not. Do you know if Clay has reached out to the electrician?
I spoke to him, but we were interrupted, and I also spoke to Jack. There's been some reasonable effort made to check it out, but, I mean, people have actually climbed up in there. Clay seemed to make the point that it almost takes, when it's leaking, is for someone to literally make entry and follow the trail of moisture back to where it is. It seemed, his thoughts seemed to make sense to me. But I think it's something we should follow up on.
Right, I agree.
On the similar note, the window is in.
2 windows are in.
Yes, yep. Looks nice,
Looks nice.
it really does.
That's it for me, sir.
Okay. The only thing that I have that I want to mention is this week is our mediation session with the electric co-op. Thursday morning.
Postponed, right?
Hmm?
That's the one that got postponed.
Well, it got scheduled for
Okay.
this point in time, so
So it's Thursday,
it's Thursday, yeah,
and you're going?
I'm going. So Thursday morning, but maybe all day, who knows? See where it goes.
Bring your lunch.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the only thing I have. Hi, Jack.
Hello,
Hi there.
107 Middle Road, how do you want to approach that? I got 4 prices.
Okay.
68, somewhere between 5 and 75, a 53 and a 55.
Okay.
Which one do you recommend?
55.
Okay.
It seems as though he'll do more with the stuff that's half decent and donated to places.
And that will
And
mitigate.
that will lower the cost of the dumpsters and all that, so it could end up being less, so. And the 3 vehicles would just have to have them towed, because the town can't do anything about getting titles, so.
All right.
But I was told to wait on the vehicles until after the 90 days, so.
Right, until after her redemption period expires.
Would you have the vendor take one load as soon as possible, or wait till snow and frost are gone?
I'd wait a little bit till some of the snow leaves, because some of it is covered out front, and then he'll be able to access around the back to use the back door of the basement as opposed to hauling everything up to the basement.
Could you give us in writing the 4 offers, and then we make a decision next meeting?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll clean that up.
Yep.
Great.
Okay.
Any thoughts on Clay's leak? I know I had a conversation.
Just gonna climb, when it's raining out, get someone to climb the top and climb inside, because on a metal roof, it could be leaking 20 feet higher than it's dripping through. Or it could be dripping somewhere else and running across. It could be lower and dripping on the plywood and running back up, so you don't know. It's a flat ceiling in there, so. I would assume it's either ridge vent or a screw's missing or a screw's loose.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for what you do, I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, Jack. Correspondence. Yep. All right, that's a work in process on the plowing ordinance. Deal with that going forward. This is what Jack was just talking about. That's the high bid. All right, correspondence from J. St. Jean that they anticipate advertisement for the sale being in early May. So we wanted to make sure that they were not getting any money into this until we actually run through town meeting, so it looks like everything's on board there. a letter from the breast cancer support, my breast cancer support to the Tuftonboro Police Benevolent Association. Your Chief Shigori and PBA, on behalf of my breast cancer support, I'd like to say thank you for your recent donation of $500 for our organization. That goes on and talks about all the big things
That
that
was
they
their
do.
pink patches.
Yep.
Nice program.
All right. And this is from Dave Allwine at Stantec. And where do we stand on that, Karen? Is he coming up with a with a program based upon Sanborn Head's review?
He is supposed to come back with recommendations on what
Right.
to do. Yeah,
Right,
I just
so-
don't know what deadline yet, but
Right. All right, well, it's,
I can follow up on
well, we're not on a deadline at this point. But this was middle of the month, so maybe another week or so,
Okay.
just reach out and see what's going on. All right, pile of correspondence on House Bill 709, which would require the excess statewide education property tax to be remitted to the state.
Yeah, my reading of that was that that had gotten taken out of the bill. And they were talking about amending another bill maybe.
Yes.
And there was an
Put that back
email
in.
this morning
Yeah, it might be behind that new sticky, yeah.
That, I don't, it's current policy, I don't know, it might be here at the very back.
Yeah. I think
Oh,
it
yeah,
is,
all right,
One or two, actually, to be honest with you.
yeah. So, and of course, there's a lot of legalese and all this. There was an amendment made in committee to remove the swept, and then they need to make another amendment on the floor to change some of the other language that left it to be confusing. And then it says, this is from Portsmouth City Attorney, who's been following this carefully, so they seem to be on top of it, which is good because.
Years ago, they were the ones that hired a lobbyist.
Right.
And we
They were the
actually
ones that-
supported it.
Yep, we did. Anyways, among other things, she says, we are hearing conflicting information from our sources in Concord regarding whether a new or amended bill will come forward separately on the issue of return of swept to the state. Some feel the issue is dead for this year, and others believe an amendment to an existing bill will be introduced. Uncertainty presents a challenging situation regarding tracking legislation. So, amen to that. There's a part of me that's concerned that it'll be an 11th hour, something that gets slipped into some potentially totally unrelated legislation as an amendment that will try and pry that money loose. So, it's, your thoughts at this point?
I mean, I don't think it's gonna get any further than the House if it comes out of, it's gonna come out of committee, but I honestly don't see it passing.
Well,
I mean, I looked at the sponsors on there. None of them have any real power anymore. I mean, they're trying to balance the budget on the backs of the town together.
right,
See how far they get.
yep. So, well, I feel fortunate that we get this bird dog at the city of Portsmouth that's staying on top of it.
Yeah.
And depending upon what happens down the road, it may be necessary to get the group back together
Right.
hire the consultant to make sure we have a
Yeah, I mean, it just needs to be.
an appropriate voice in Concord.
Yeah, they added, I mean, I was going through the figures in that spreadsheet.
Very confusing to me.
Yeah, well, they added in, I think they're using number of students as well, which was never part of the equation.
Mhm.
It's just, so that really throws us under the wheels of the bus, because we don't have that many students
Right.
come out of Tuftonboro. I think we're one of two
You can, as long as.
most impacted towns.
At one point, Moultonborough
You
was
could dig yourself.
substantially impacted.
Yeah, they didn't seem to be that badly impacted this
Right.
time. Wolfboro more so.
Yeah, they probably.
Well, eternal vigilance,
At
I
some
think is,
point-
yeah.
Yeah, maybe they'll come up with a solution, but, I mean, they're still working at $3,400 for an adequate education, which is,
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's the property.
Yeah. And that was a figure that was arrived at a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right? Many, many years.
yeah, it was low then and they haven't adjusted for inflation.
Yep. All right. So we have copies of, I guess it's revised submissions
No, I don't know.
on the
It's totally on the lake.
Town Beach permit applications from earlier in the month, and of course, the permits have been issued, so that's
Yes.
sort of been overcome by events. A letter here from Lakes Region Planning Commission regarding updating town's hazard mitigation planning to remain eligible for FEMA funding.
Fire chief's already started on it.
Tuftonborough's hazard mitigation plan will be due for its 5-year update by August 2020. And if I remember, the chief put some additional money in his budget this year in case we needed the assistance of, some technical assistance of somebody that knows more about it than our guys. They're working on it, but if they get to a point where they need
Yes.
somebody,
Professional help.
yeah, professional help, then they got that to do.
The only thing that makes it.
All right. A email from Hope House, this is the middle of the month, just to let towns know that they have a room opening for a homeless family at Hope House on Laner Street in Hopeboro. So I think what that means is that a family that came in the initial group has transitioned and moved on, and so they have availability if there's a need out there. And then we have a email regarding vehicles in the yard. Spoken with the individual again about that, and he does have a plan in place as the weather
Does-
breaks.
Out of courtesy, does someone need to get back to the person who wrote the letter?
We did, and came back with another vomit, so, you know,
Okay.
I think,
Thank you for your, thank you for your efforts, Mr. Chairman.
I think that's where it is. All right, now we got the procurement policy.
I read through it and,
Yeah. Did you have a chance to?
I did,
Look at it.
actually,
Yeah.
and.
Karen, I think that the section that you, with the administrator, I just lined it up so that it'll just read, submit the final specification to the Board of Selectmen prior to solicitation.
Okay, I can't recall, but I'll look at your notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so you just had one little edit, okay, great.
Do you see any other?
no, I think it's
All right.
the corrections we
And I
worked
think
on.
it comports with what's needed.
Yes,
Right. And,
and it also comports with the law.
right. And so Rick Sager has it for
Yeah.
review, right? And so maybe you can put it on our agenda for next Monday's meeting.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have heard back by then.
He said he would get back
Yeah,
this week, yeah.
and then we can get this one done.
Okay.
Good job.
And then we have an estimate that Karen put together on yield tax. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that. Of course, it's,
I didn't see it, but I heard the number.
Karen, could you give a copy to Steve Wingate? He's a retired forester and ties in with conservation. Thank you.
Mhm.
So the amount of permits applied for totals $34,942.
if all of the timber
All the timber is
that's
cut.
that's on the notification documents gets cut, that's what it'll be. My understanding is that when you put in a notification, you estimate, and you want to estimate high so that you're not, because if you take more than what you've estimated, then you have to put in the
More paperwork,
revised
yes.
paperwork. So, you know, if you say you're not sure, then you say, I'm going to pull 10,000 board feet, making sure that it's more than what you're going to do. But anyway, it is,
Yeah,
And we estimated 20,000 for timber tax, so I think we're right on,
Well-
Mr. Chairman.
we'll,
I think it's gonna exceed what we estimated.
But,
Just looking around town, I mean, I just,
yeah,
looking at what's been going on, and looking at the timber cutting permits and
and after we get the income, before we set the tax rate, we're allowed to readjust this for us.
right.
I had also asked Karen to, did you talk to Rick about the Wolfboro?
That opinion hasn't come up yet.
Hasn't.
There's a copy of the request in the Manila folder.
Right. He answered one of the questions, but not the one you asked.
Yeah.
I expect that too, no?
Okay.
All right. Do we have any other business? Could we go home early today?
I need to. Get heat in the house.
Yeah, I'm guessing, yeah.
There's 3 different subjects.
Huh? In here?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I
not
don't-
public.
yeah.
I didn't see any.
I don't think we need any, huh?
I didn't see any new stuff in there
No.
on Friday.
I added some today, I think, where we combined them all, so they would be by subject. But I don't think there's any action to be taken, I don't think.
There's nothing that requires our action.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
All right. So, here, reading material for you.
Good, good, good.
All right,
Thank you.
any other business?
Joe?
We're gonna have a little public input. I just want to talk about the, when Andy was here. I have no problem with, and we've discussed this before, about training a new officer, coming in, spending the money, training them. But we have no guarantee 6 weeks after they are on board that they can leave and go someplace else. We've discussed this before. Andy will tell you, well, it's hard to get people. We can't get people, okay? But we're making an effort to put the money and the training out there, but we've got no guarantee that you're gonna stick around and we're gonna go through this all over again. This is a comment. We've discussed it before. I don't know if you've given it any thought.
We have, and we've addressed it as best we can.
It's a double-edged sword, Joe.
Okay.
I remember when we tried it on the last time I was a selectman. And the 2 edges involved are, okay, I need a guarantee from you, new employee, that you're gonna stay X number of years to satisfy the amount of money we've spent to get you here.
Right.
That's a contract now. So let's say 6 months from now, it's not working out. We can't get rid of that person because now we're contractually obligated on our side for 3 years or however long the contract lasts. So we could fire the person or dismiss the person for bad acts, but we're kind of contractually obligated to pay them for the amount of time that we've contracted for.
Okay, that being said, is there any type of grants or programs or to enlist new officers within the state? I mean, it's like, you know, trying to draw blood from stone, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just looking for other avenues to offset our costs.
I guess I'll go back to what I said before, which is that was certainly a topic that we reviewed and considered, and I believe we took the best path through that minefield that we can
Okay,
to protect the town
Well,
and
And part of our hiring process is an understanding that this is Tufton Borough. So the candidate who's full of piss and vinegar and wants to be a big police officer is probably not the appropriate candidate for us to hire because they would need to move on to something more exciting.
right.
So that enters into the hiring process. Just to-
Okay, I just brought it up, that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
anything else, Joe?
That's all I have. Is this it for the week?
This is
that's
it.
it.
Okay,
Why, do
thank
you
you.
want more?
No, I don't.
I'm too old for it.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, sir, you are.
This is, as of now, this is our last meeting in February.
Is it? Yeah, it is.
Yes.
No, okay, fine.
We get to
We
meet
We'll
all
be
day
meeting
in
next
the-
Monday.
Yes, a question for Bill is in reference to the planning board.
Yes.
On 21st, is that going to be a notice as a public hearing or meeting?
That, we will have a meeting on the 21st, and the hearing on that pit will be continued at that meeting.
Does it have to be noticed?
Um,
And are more people going to show up?
Quite honestly, I don't.
Okay. Just asking.
Yeah. I don't know if you have to renotice it if you're continuing a hearing or not.
Okay.
But abutters notices will be going out again to correct that prior defect.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
Do we need the planning board to do a job performance review on their administrative assistant?
Well, we need every department head to do performance reviews on their folks. So no different than anybody else, right?
Because there was not one done in December.
Right. Yep. All right.
Move each.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.